All right, we are live for the Phoenix Rio Tuesday 2 o'clock event again with Luke, and now we have Augie joining us today. Just some quick side notes. Both Luke and I have YouTube channels, trying to grow those. So mine is called Just for Flips, and Luke's is called
The Viking
Boys. So you can follow us both and subscribe on YouTube. Also, you can follow us both on Instagram. And Augie puts out a daily newsletter, a weekly newsletter. He can tell you all about that. But Augie is kind of our go-to guy when we want to find about what's happening in the rental market. He does a lot of rentals. He also buys a lot of out of county foreclosures that he turns into rentals. He does some hoteling. He kind of does a little bit of everything. But he runs a monthly meeting at the Scottsdale Association of Realtors, mainly for rentals and BRRRRs and all that fun stuff. And he was just talking about his new Airbnb in Prescott that he just purchased as well. So anyway,
yeah, man, you got me. I like buying whole stuff, like I never got the point. Like you buy a real estate, you fix it, and you sell it so you can buy another one. So what's the point? You already have it. Just get it, fix it, refinance it, and just get another one.
Yeah, well, there's something called cash flow that does help and fixing a property.
I have a theory about it. I hate cash flow, and cash flow doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There we go. Why?
Because I'm only 40, and I don't need the cash flow now. I'm going to need my cash flow when I'm 65 or 60, 20 years from now. So I want to get the properties right now with a lot of equity. So by the time I want to get retired, I want to work, they're paid off, and that's when I get my cash flow.
There we go. I like that. I hear you, Augie. The thing that's interesting, so from my perspective, is obviously when times like right now are happening in Phoenix, where we're used to having 5 flips closed per month at $50,000 a pop, and then that just gets completely cut off, right? And nothing's moving anymore. I have started realizing, like, wow, that cash flow is actually very important, though. Because, once those are gone, it's like, okay, well now, when the income's not coming from the flips anymore, I now have to look at what my cash flow is. And it's like, that's actually going to be able to help you a lot, over the next 6 months to a year or whatever.
Man, I think if you do wholesale fix and flip, every 5th property you have to keep. You have to buy a property. You have to keep a property every month.
Yeah, I like that. I absolutely love that.
So, Augie, what have you seen as far as, like, obviously just a little update on our retail market? We have 19,500 actives, still below 20,000. We're still low on inventory. Obviously, the 10-year keeps climbing and climbing. I think it almost hit 4 today. So, which probably equates to a 7% mortgage, just so you know. So, what do you see on the rental side, Augie?
So rental side, it's in the last 4 months, the rentals doubled. Available rentals for rent doubled.
Oh, wow.
But this is not a crash. It's just a correction, much needed correction, because the rental market was also crazy.
Yeah.
It's just not enough for people, and so now the rents are adjusting a little bit, not much. Just a little bit. And I personally think that because we're heading into a recession, an overall recession in the next year or two is tough for everybody as far as payments and high inflation, spend money. So it's more important to find the right tenant versus having the highest possible rent. Because what's the point of having 200 more than anybody else when the tenant cannot afford it and you have to evict them on the second month?
Yeah.
So overall, when you're pricing your property, look at what's going on in the area. Unfortunately, MLS, it's not enough information because 50% of the rental market is off MLS. a lot of the hedge funds, property managers, they use Zillow. So Zillow is one of the, you look at MLS and Zillow and compare what's available. So what got rented probably a couple months ago is not correct anymore. Just look at your competition. So, and it's better to have somebody immediately on the first or 2 weeks right away versus waiting 2-3 months, because 2-3 months of waiting time to get the best rent, that's a two months of not getting anything.
Right.
So be conservative. Go into a recession. Get this cash flow coming. Just get the property rented. Get a really good tenant with a good income, and just move on and keep buying more properties.
What do you suggest that people use for qualifying their tenants, if they're not using a property manager like you, they're just doing it on their own?
Right.
All right. So definitely always use a property manager. Because here's the first thing. Imagine one street, and on the right side says for rent by owner, and on the left side says professional property manager, we evict people on the 5th day. Imagine where the bad tenants will go, right? They're going to go to the for sale by owner. But so here's some bad things that you can see. Okay, if somebody getting paid cash, they say, I make a lot of cash, but I cannot prove it. The problem is if you evict this person and you have judgment against it, you cannot collect. So even though they have cash, you cannot go after them for anything. The other problem is if somebody calls you and says, I want to move in tomorrow. That's a red flag also. Be careful, stay away from people like that. There's some kind of a drama going on. And the third thing that I always look into, if I set up an appointment with a tenant, I want to see if they're right on time. If they're late, if they don't respond, if something is also very hard to communicate with them. If they don't respect you on the first date, they're not going to respect you through the whole. So
I can see
just
that.
3 tips that you can do, just to be careful right off the bat of this type of scenarios. So.
For sure. Augie, what are your thoughts of finding tenants on Facebook Marketplace? We've had some pretty good luck there in the past.
We started doing this a couple years ago. In the beginning, we start wasting a lot of time with unqualified tenants. That was my first impression. But if you have somebody on a salary on job just to check that, it's a numbers game. Overall, I think it's a lower quality tenants coming through that channel of leads, just because they might be sitting in having nothing to do and just checking and clicking, maybe things like that, versus calling and setting up an appointment. And we don't even talk to tenants until they go and see the property.
Right.
I'll tell you that. So
for sure.
The moment they see, we know they saw it, then we call them.
Are you using any kind of like cool lockbox technology or MLS lockbox or anything like that? We
use a local company called RentZap, and we hire them. They go, they take professional pictures, they set up a lockbox, and we have codes that we can give 1 hour code, one-time use code that we can get somebody in by checking their license, credit card. Pretty secure methods too of doing it. So, but it's very convenient for the actual tenant also, because they can go on their own time, spend as much time they want, look at it, see it, and just let us know if they're interested. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, how are the evictions going? You talked about you put out an eviction on the 5th day. Like, are you having any trouble getting through this?
No, I mean the one thing with the property management companies, we don't have any emotional relationship with a tenant.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest issues that the self-managing landlords do. They get friends with their tenants and they just say, tenant calls and say, hey, I'll pay you next week, and then I'll next week. And then 2 months go by, and it's just crazy. With us on the 5th day, on the 3rd day, you get a letter out, which is 5-day notice, no matter what. It's just the system runs. and by 22nd day you have a court date with the judge. So we're still pretty good. I think that the time, depending which judge and what county you're filing eviction, could be up to 45 days. It also depends if the tenant is fighting it or not fighting it. But that's why you have to have special provision in your lease. For example, I'll give you one tip that a lot of tenants could use and could cost you a lot of money. If the tenant goes to court and they say to the judge, I want to go to trial, then the judge has to set up a trial, like a full-blown trial for eviction, which probably you're going to win, but it's going to cost you a lot of time and money.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
How
in
long
our
can it-
leases, we have waiver of that jury trial for eviction.
So it just goes to the local court then, right? And just,
Yeah, just eviction. So,
yeah.
I mean, with us, we guarantee our tenants. So here's one thing. We try to get our owners, landlords, as less as involved as possible.
Right.
Let's say if you're my client and I manage the property for you, you don't even know who the tenants are. The only thing we agree on is how much you want to rent the property. After that, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
I'm
So
the
what's-
legal separation between you and the tenant.
Right.
So what's the current management fee? What's the going rate? Is it 10%? What is it?
You're gonna see it anywhere between flat rate to about 10%. We are at 8%, but be careful with the flat rates because they try. So we all have the same cost for management, running the management business.
Right.
The only way is how you get paid the same amount of money. So if I give you a flat rate of something ridiculous of 70, 60 bucks a month, my expense is still 100 bucks a month. I have to get that money somewhere from you. And most common way the property management companies do it is by charging 10% on top of repairs.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So I personally hate this because it's incentive for the property manager to find more problems and send more people.
Right.
So we don't do that. Whatever the special services go there, that's what you pay. And we try to do most of the work with handyman. That's the cheapest way to do handyman. But I think 8%, and you have to see the junk fees on top. Is there any sign up fee, any many on top of the repairs fee, anything like that? So we chose to just do 8% and no other junk fees. And with us, I mean, even the contract is month to month. You can just walk away as you want.
So would you say 80 to 100 then is, I mean, from my experience, I used to have a property manager when I had my first couple of rentals, and everyone that I saw was basically between 80 and 100 a month. Does that sound pretty accurate or pretty normal?
No, I wouldn't advise you to do that because here's the thing. When you set up $80 flat fee to manage someone's properties, at the moment that might be a good price. However, the inflation is pushing your business expenses higher. You have to pay higher salaries. You have to pay higher gas if you want, business insurance, everything.
Right. So that's where you're saying in general, they're going to have to bump their prices up at some point to get it back.
Yes. And if they don't, they're going to have a poor quality of people serving you. So you have to give it up, either cheaper. So don't go with 10%, don't go with 60, go with 8% average kind of thing.
Cool.
Average in the middle. So trust, you're going to save a lot of money, because just 1 month of wrong not having a tenant is an eviction, and it's the money you're trying to save. It's lost. Plus,
exactly,
you don't make money by changing toilets and leaking faucets, you're making money by buying rental
Yep.
properties.
Right.
So if there's some kind of a mental barrier when you say, oh my God, I'm going to buy another one. Oh, I have to answer the calls. I have to deal with another tenant. Oh, it's a nightmare. But if you have everything set up, like you have your mortgage guy, you have a property management guy, you have a repair guy, everything becomes a system. Like, look, you call me and say, hey, Augie, I have this great rental property. All right, let me run the numbers. Great. You send it to me. The property manager takes it over. They say, we're going to rent it for this. The repair guy goes there and they start working, and you forget about it. You just focus on getting another one from Luke
Mm-hmm.
and get the next one.
Right.
That's how you make the money. Not by, if you're going for $1 million, you can afford to pay $150 a month property management fee.
Right. No, that makes sense. How many properties do you currently manage?
We are on the lower side, about 65.
Okay.
So just adding 3-4 a month, very slowly.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. That's awesome. Chris, do you have? I know obviously you got your Airbnbs. Do you have any just long term?
No, I just do the long term not long term. I do short term, long term over the summer. So I do,
For sure.
I throw it up on MLS for my Airbnbs, usually April 1,
Yep.
take long term or longer term tenants from basically May or June all the way till both my Airbnbs. Tenants have been in since June 1st, and they both vacate, one on October 31st. So
Okay. Cool.
I get 5 months of just steady income. They
Yep.
turn on the water, they turn on the power, and then I just I don't have to manage them.
Yep.
And then I just manage them during the season.
No cleaning fees.
What's great about Prescott, and Augie just got a Airbnb set up in Prescott, is with that market you get the winter visitors that just kind of want to go up there and like see the snow and the fall leaves and the spring and all that.
Yep.
And then you get everybody that wants to get out of town. Is there one season that's better in Prescott than
I think summertime is better than winter.
For Airbnb?
Yeah.
It's pretty even, honestly. It's that's what's great about up there is that summertime kills it because you have all the Phoenicians that want to get out of Phoenix, they want to beat the heat. And then in the wintertime, it does amazing too, because exactly the reasons you just said. It's also the Christmas city of Arizona, so they do all the lights, courthouse lighting. They have all these different events. They have the parades. They have all that kind of stuff. So that's when you have people going up regularly. They do the boot drop for New Year's, which is a lot of fun right on Whiskey Row.
Yeah. Who knew that was the capital of Arizona before Phoenix? Anyone?
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Back in 1919 or something.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, no. So yeah, obviously, for rentals, like long-term rentals, there's obviously, the Burr model. Then you got all the funds that we're buying, long-term rentals. I was actually on the phone with a little update for someone that works for a fund manager. And typically when the funds buy, they rehab, they get it rented, and then they reposition, right?
Yeah.
But they reposition in big tranches instead of one by one, right?
Yeah.
But so, what has happened to a lot of these funds is they don't know what their numbers look like for their 2023 refis yet. So that's the reason why they're buying, but they just want a great deal. So they don't know what their 2023 refi looks like. And they're not going to know that here for a few months. So probably going to see all those guys stay on the shelf until probably January. And then we'll see how much prices dip, if they do dip, and see how much, see what interest rates come back at.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm on the same opinion. I tell everybody, right now I'm on hold. I'm not buying anything to hold until at least January.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens to the January market. I call it when football season ends, like call it the college football season. That's usually like January 10th. Usually that kicks off a spring market in Arizona, and it's never not kicked off a spring market as long as I've been in real estate. So I would be shocked if it didn't,
Didn't happen again.
didn't happen again. I mean, I understand that interest rates are high sixes, touching 7 probably today, but there's still people, whether they're coming. I mean, we still have 80,000 people move here a year, right?
Yeah.
If they're planning on moving here,
Most likely
whatever,
wouldn't buy.
yeah, for whatever reason, whether they're a baby boomer that's coming out to Sun City and they're retiring here, or they're coming from California because they're tired of the taxes over there, or
Yep.
whatever reason, or people just want to get out of the Midwest snow. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why people move to Arizona, right? And then, we got that big Taiwanese chip plant being built, way up north. So all those people are going to be moving here. I mean, it generally happens mid-January, and I would be shocked if it didn't happen again this year. So we'll see what. And if you're entering a spring market with 19,000 actives, it's still going to move the needle, right?
Right.
It's not like we're talking about it's 2008 and we have 62,000 actives, right?
Right. Exactly.
What do you guys think about all the inventory from Open Door and OfferPad?
We were so Jake and I were actually just talking about that. It's kind of crazy to think about because, I mean, we pulled up just a little area that we were looking at, just some comps in, and Open Door owned, I think, 6 comps in a like 1 block little radius. And we looked at the buy prices on all of them and what the properties are actually selling for now. I mean, there's a good chance that little tiny block that we looked at, that maybe they end up losing 40 grand per house, right? So they lose 40 grand per house on 6 homes. We were just doing the math and we're like, okay, it's kind of insane to think about, but if say they have 10,000 homes and you lose $40,000 a home, and maybe it's not going to be $40,000, but that's it was $400 million. That's what they would end up losing.
It comes down to
that's low, man. I think that's low.
It comes down to basic economics. Guys like myself or Luke or Augie, we buy a house, we fix it up, we sell it. Doesn't matter market share, blah, 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 all that stuff. It's still got to pencil, right? It's still got to work.
Exactly. That's what
we are in and out quickly and more efficiently. And the most money that Open Door and OfferPad, they lose money from their administration cost. Running advertising, running all the repair people, all the administration. That's why they're losing money. And like everybody, they have holding costs. I personally think it's a big scam for investors. So don't invest in Open Door, because Open Door gets paid when they buy the property, not when they sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So they charge the fee.
Yeah, they get the
investor funds the whole deal, including the fee, and Open Door gets their fee, and the property then starts getting serviced, getting ready on the market.
Right. That's what's so crazy. Like, I don't understand how they can possibly make it through this. I mean, that's because, like you said, we just added up those numbers, and then that's not even counting exactly what you said. That's not including administrative, numbers. That's not including.
They still have a holding cost. My holding cost is 1% a month.
Right.
So imagine how many properties they have. They have about 2,000 properties right now in the Phoenix market.
Right. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. I don't know. Is
it possible that they might sell it to a hedge fund?
Well, it's possible. I mean,
rentals?
yeah, it's possible. Obviously, the hedge funds have bought way more than 2,000 properties. So, but the big thing is, the thing with Wall Street is if they want to clear their inventory, they're just going to clear their inventory, right? So, if they clear their inventory, people are going to get some good deals, and but then once that inventory is gone, it's still only 2,000 houses. There's a lot of people in this town. So,
yeah, but they have to keep dropping the price until it sells. Most people, the regular sellers, they have a lot of equity. They're not pressured.
Yeah.
They might hold and they might take it off market, cancel. But Open Door, OfferPad, they must sell. There's no other option.
For sure.
Yeah, because they got a timeline just like anything, just like a car business, right? A car buys a car off the auction block. It sits there for 30 days, great, 60 days, great, 90 days, great. Sooner or later, it's got to be like, all right, time to clear the inventory,
Yeah,
right?
so you got to move it. Yeah,
So,
no,
but
for sure.
the typical homeowner that's sitting on their 2.75 or 3.25
Yep.
or maybe even 3.5 is like, I don't have to go anywhere. I can just stay right here.
Yep. No, exactly. Well, have you guys tried buying a house from Open Door? They
I've
make
sold
it.
some to Open Door.
If you've ever tried making an offer on one to buy one, we tried doing one the other day, and it is so inconvenient. They don't give you a single agent to talk to, so you can't talk to anyone. So you can't try to build rapport with an agent to try to make it happen. It's like they give you the website, you put in the address, and then they make you submit offers. So I mean, it's really frustrating. Obviously it completely takes away that whole agent interaction with the whole buying and selling of real estate. But I was very displeased with how it went of trying to even just make an offer on a property.
Yeah, that'd be frustrating.
Yeah, you're like, okay, well, there's no way this is going to happen.
If you're the typical home buyer, you're like, I'm the home buyer. I'm the champ on the street now. It's not.
Yes, exactly. No, for sure.
I think most cities right now, it's buyer's market.
Yeah, it's a buyer's market. So you're like, why do I want to deal?
East Valley, like Queen Creek and Buckeye, where there's new home builders, it's a completely buyer's market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why do you want to be this buyer that you're the man now? Why do you want to be like have to deal with any of that
stuff?
No,
not at all. Not at all. Yeah, absolutely. So
you want to be like, oh, who wants my offer?
Yes, exactly. And what else are you going to throw me as well?
Yeah. All right. Well, anybody got any questions about Augie? Augie, what's your company name for your? I know I should know it, but
ProX Realty Management. ArizonaProX.com.
Heck yeah.
ArizonaProX.com. And
ProX.
Yeah, do you have any long-term rentals?
Do I?
Yeah.
I do, yeah. Yeah, we've got about 40 40 rentals right now, and then we're adding we're going to start on we're still going through the city, but we're about to start on a 32 unit in downtown Prescott. So we'll have about 72, 75 hopefully
Yeah, that could be pretty good cash flow during downturns.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously those ones haven't even begun construction yet, so those ones will be a little while. But our breakdown of 40, we're going to have probably about 20 Airbnbs after the 10 unit in Sedona is done, and then we'll have about 20 long term.
Yeah,
cool.
Heck yeah!
The little dog's making noise. Sorry.
Come on, Chris. That sounds like a little dog.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Augie, thanks for jumping on.
Sure, guys.
Heck yeah.
We will be back. I think Luke and I are going to do different marketing lists that we market to. I'm actually kind of market to everybody because I just keep calling people and keep calling. But there are different niche lists if you're looking to market to different buyers, and you're only going to make a certain number of calls per week, or send out a certain number of letters. You can get different lists. You can stack those lists, and we're going to talk about that next week.
Certain lists will give you better results. You just have to realize that the more niche list that you call, the more competition you're going to have in calling that niche list, because you're going to have that many more people that are also going to want to call that list.
Yeah. But we'll jump on that topic next week. So thanks for joining us, everyone.
Absolutely. Thanks, Augie. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
See you next time.